Hi, I am Stacey Thomas. We're going to try this again with the Stacey Thomas Unrestricted Unlimited Talk Show. Today we are doing the pull-up. We're doing the pull-up. She is known as Cara Pressley, the career cheerleader, and she has what she calls the pull-up. Basically, she pulls up on people and provides her awesome services. She's going to be here to tell you about that. So we're waiting for her to join us. This is also sponsored by Marquita Steph. This interview by the beautiful Marquita Steph. She has Heavenly Beauty Supply. She's on Facebook as Marquita Steph, or you can Google Heavenly Beauty Supply. I'll put that information up while I am waiting for Cara to join us. This is going to be very interesting, guys. It'll give you a chance to get to know more about me as Cara interviews me, and more about her as I interview her, and then find out exactly how you can be interviewed, okay? So bear with me for a moment, please. Let's see.
Testing, testing.
Cara.
Yes.
That's better, sweetheart. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well. I wanted
I
to share
know.
I was practicing because Marquita Stiff sponsored the show today.
Oh, good.
And
Yeah, she's
you know
awesome.
Marquita?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's always promoting everybody, Cara.
She
And
is.
and never asking for anything in return. You look up and you see someone shared your post and there's Marquita, And
Right.
and she has I don't know if you saw the post, but she's advertising now that she has masks for sale.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't see that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
she's
I sent
definitely.
her when we were talking. I asked her. I said, "Are these masks being made in the United States? Nothing against any other countries, but I was
Mm-hmm.
just curious." And she said they were. So I'm hoping, like, if anyone's looking for masks, maybe she still has a supply that
Right.
she can sell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's
Okay,
always promoting everybody.
exactly. So, Cara, how are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, sweetheart, those lips are
Hey.
popping.
Thank you. Yours too.
Thank you. So, tell everybody, Cara, what are we doing?
What we're doing is, first of all, we're still having an event that we planned way before this whole life took a turn. So we're showing some resiliency today. And we're also being two people from the same industry who do interviews and correspondent work and just showcase other people. We're going to interview others because I know you feel or you experience this like I do. People may want to interview, but they don't know what it's going to be like, or they don't know how it's going to feel, or what question are you going to ask me, or will I freeze up in the moment? So this is a way to showcase what we can do for others, how it feels to be interviewed, and we're going to interview each other and,
Sounds
and show some collaboration in our community as well.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm actually Cara, trying to make sure we alive. It says
Okay.
there we are. We are. It was my
Okay.
time, you know.
Okay.
Um, Cara,
Yes.
I've said this before, and people probably heard me say it on the last interview. I think you're freaking awesome.
Oh, I think you
I,
are too.
I think you're awesome. So, who's gonna go first?
I mean, it's your show. We it is the pull up. It's also unrestricted and unlimited. So we both have our questions. We both, first or second. We're both in first place. So
Okay,
you can
okay,
kick it off,
okay.
or you want me to
I
kick it
can kick
off.
it off. You
I
kick it
feel like
off
your
today.
your questions might go a little deep. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off because in
Okay.
my interview series, I have the pull up, as you all know, and it's 15 minutes or less interviews to get to know the next person, just a quick little snippet of information. So I'll go first. And the main question I ask people is, go ahead and introduce yourself. Who is Stacey Thomas, and what's your brand all about?
I am Stacey Thomas. I'm an author, speaker, and advocate for Lou Gehrig's disease, and now recently a talk show host. My brand is about people feeling comfortable to tell their story, not being judged. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'll discuss a lot of different topics, Cara. We
Mm-hmm.
all have that thing that we won't discuss.
Right.
But the majority of things, I want to talk to people, share their stories, and hopefully learn something.
Right. I love that. I love that. We're both storytellers, and we both like to listen to the other people as well. So when it comes to how you came to this place, what happened in your life, or what pivot had you say, let me go write this book? And then what pivot had you say, let me start interviewing other people? What was there anything in particular that led you to this?
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
And nothing against my ex-husband because he was an awesome man, okay?
Right.
But loneliness
Mm-hmm.
gives you time to not just worry about what everybody else is doing, but to maybe rethink what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And things started happening like in my mind. I decided, hey, I started thinking about writing. So I
Mm-hmm.
started writing basically because someone asked me to, are you going to keep sharing your stories with everybody else? Are you scared of success? You
Mm.
know? And so I started writing, but I really didn't get into anything until I lost my mother.
Okay.
And when you lose someone very important to you, you start to realize how important life is.
Right.
So that really put the fire under me.
Right. No, that definitely makes sense. And I love what you just said because it's so prevalent in today as far as isolation allows you to rethink what you're doing instead of paying attention to what everybody else is doing. For the first time in a long time, I haven't heard about any new shoes coming out. I haven't heard about any black or white issues. People are really just focused on their health, and we're isolating for a reason. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping we're rethinking what we're doing. Yeah, that's awesome. Because it doesn't always have to be negative either.
And Cara,
Mm-hmm.
I don't yeah, and I left something out for the women that are watching. The
Okay.
children started growing up, Cara,
That's it. Now
you
that's a
know?
key right there because I can relate to that because I've associated myself as a mom for so long that when I had a moment where my son had to leave me, I was like, now who am I? I have no football practice to go to. I have no what do I do? I had nobody else to feed other than myself. So yeah, that's a really big key factor that I think a lot of women miss. We just end up falling into it. Like falling into a depression when the kids go off to college or something happens and they get married or it just happens. But I think no one prepares for it. So I'm glad you said that and shared that. Yeah, because that's a real thing. You're more than a mother, everybody. You too,
That's
whoever's
right.
watching. um, what difficulties have you experienced? I know you said losing your mother, but in regards to this actual career journey, when it comes to you getting your guests for the show or building working relationships and networking, have you experienced any difficulty? And how did you get through that to continue to press forward to still move forward on your mission for I Am Stacey Thomas?
Two things.
Mhm.
Um, Fear was the biggest thing.
Okay,
And the fear didn't come from man, the fear came from my own negative thinking.
that's self
So
talk.
pushing past that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing the very thing that I'm most afraid of doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got past, do you and don't worry about everybody else.
That's it. Stand in who you are. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. You still doing that today? You feel like you are?
I
You
am,
making your
Cara.
own lane?
And that's what it is, Cara. You learn that you really don't when you're given what you're given by your higher power or God, you wait for somebody to invite you into their lane and it never happens.
Right.
So you have to come to a point, you got to make it happen, create your own lane.
Absolutely. That's accurate because for a long time for me, I'm like, I must need a big break. I must need to be in this space or in this room to get the break, not realizing that doing my work was the break. That's the ticket in the door. So yeah, that's
That's right.
awesome. But look, my last question, because we're almost done with my portion. Um, what is your favorite form of self-care? What do you do to take care of Stacey when the lights are off and the red carpets are away and you're not dealing with anything? How do you get back to you?
Take that time to meditate, pray,
Mm,
just kind of like be in that space where no phone is ringing, nobody's yapping,
right.
and just try to find that peace for a little while.
I definitely hear that. I try to tap into that every day now. And,
Yes.
I'm glad this has happened because I'm actually having to slow down every day. I don't have a choice. Um, so an interesting place. Well, thank you for joining me. That was my portion. That is the pull up. That is the pull up. So if you know a business owner, if you're watching and you know someone who needs to be on the pull up, who deserves to be on the pull up, let me know. thecareercheerleader@gmail.com.
And I'll just throw in, she's an awesome person to have pull up.
Yeah, man. I do a few things. Speaking, classes, whatever people need for the social media world.
Okay, okay. I know
Yeah.
about the classes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's time for me to start.
It's time for Stacey's turn. Yes, yes. Miss Unrestricted. I'm on
Uh,
Unrestricted and Unlimited, finally.
okay, okay. So, Cara,
Yes.
when you first this thing with this title, the career cheerleader, where
Hmm.
did it come from and what made it, what created it?
Okay, so I work for the government and I've been there 20 years now. But probably about year 17, I was like, I have a long way for retirement. Like, they show you all the data. Go ahead and look and see when you can retire. And it's nice to look at maybe when you're like 2 or 3 or 5 years away. But I said, man, I've been here almost 20 years and I need to work longer than 20 more years to stay. Like, is this what I want? And I was starting to feel some kind of way because I actually do enjoy my job, but I know I want to do more public speaking, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, well, I want to still give my job my all because, again, I do enjoy it. But I need someone who's going to help me cheer me on to just continue to get up for another 20 years because when I started I was in my 20s. You get up and go in your 20s is different. It's just different. You get up and go in your late 30s is different. I'm not just jumping off the bed so I needed someone to help, let's start to put this thing into perspective. What's the goal here? What do we want? And I actively did start looking for like a little cheerleader and could not find one. And I had to become my own because I realized I had to cheer myself on anyway. So maybe I could cheer some other people on in the process. And I do like and enjoy encouraging myself and learning new things and aligning my goals and reassessing my life. And I felt like I could help other people as well. So that's where the career cheerleader came from back in 2012.
You're breaking up. Okay. So when you found yourself going out and encouraging other people, Cara,
Right.
at the end of the day, who encourages Cara?
Thank God for God. I will say that. Like, just my spiritual journey and where I want to be and how my spirit leads me to guide others and support others and serve others. That helps me in it's like an instant recharge. I'm like a rechargeable battery, I guess you could say. At the same time, my son does encourage me and he inspires me because he is just a young me. I mean, he just, full of fire and ready to go and fighting for some of the wrong things, but he believes in what he believes in. My family and support system, they're awesome. And then I have a really good group of core friends that we continually motivate each other and pour into each other. And yeah, just check in. So that's who inspires and cheers me on. But yeah, I got to do a lot of self cheering on as well. I think, I'm not the only one in that.
So how do you find yourself? How do you do all of this? You said you've been with the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yep.
currently with the government. You said you have a son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see you all over social media doing your pull-ups. You have
Right.
the three queens. You have the
Yes.
table talk. You're doing the classes and the
Yeah.
other things you listed. Where does that time come from? Because the average person would say, I don't have time.
I know, right? But that's not really the case. I will say, let me just spell out what I do. So, like you said, I do Talk of the Streets, which is a show with Xavier Handsome on Tuesdays. That's awesome. I do the Art of Conversation with Three Wise Queens. That's a show with Legacy Internet Radio on Fridays. And then I'm also cheering people on, and I'm also working the full-time job. So I don't do anything until the evening. And I was already working from home. So this new pandemic didn't kind of impact that. I was already working from home. So when I do leave my house, probably between 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m. and 8:30 in the evenings, I try to fill that time with going to support events. And how it really came to be is, some people know I do videos and recap videos. I would always go to someone's event because they promoted it. I see they believe in it, they love it. And then I get there and I'm taking my pictures and I'm using the hashtags, and nobody would repost the picture. Nobody would recap the event so I could share it to support them. And I was like, what is going on here? So I started doing the videos and I started
Excuse me.
taking pictures, and I would start to do that behind the scenes to show people the experience that I was feeling at their events.
Okay.
And it took off from there, and that's what kind of started fueling it as well.
What's been the hardest thing about building this business, Cara?
The hardest thing is wanting to stay in the middle of what I really enjoy, which is speaking and creating videos, but at the same time, because the creating videos and supporting other people is the premise behind the career cheerleader, sometimes Cara Pressley has to be on the back burner. So that's probably
Okay.
the most difficult thing. But at the same time, I do enjoy cheering other people on. So it's like, it's a long term investment.
Have you ever woke up, Cara? Have you just ever felt like you should give up? Like things weren't happening
Oh,
quick enough?
absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And again, my son, patience raising a child has that patience with him has given me so much more patience in other areas. As you said, I work with Red Table Talk and have the Red Table Talk RVA group. Shout out to them if they're looking and listening in. So because I just started that in my own lane, like yourself, it grew and it grew, and I um, started I started waiting for someone to say you're doing great, and that didn't come. And I had to just remember what I'm being patient for, why I started it. That is the core reason. And it doesn't matter how many people are following the page. It doesn't matter who's going to come on and say, yes, you're doing great. I have to enjoy it at all times. And that's the main thing that kept me kind of saying, this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Always the right thing to do.
Have you ever got discouraged? I've got way more questions, huh?
Yeah, oh no, you're good. You
Have
can
you?
get discouraged, but it's just about refocusing. You know why you started. So
Okay.
I have to give myself the self-talk back to that beginning place. But it's practice, and that's where the patience comes in.
And I want us both to speak on Cara. When
Mhm.
you see that you're doing something
Mhm.
and somebody else pops up that's on your page and they start doing
Mm.
what Cara's doing,
Right.
or they take a name that Cara may have on her brand or logo.
Mhm.
For me, Cara,
Mhm.
I've had to tell myself they are not Stacey Thomas.
Yes.
Focus, Stacey. They can do it, but they won't be
Yes.
like Stacey.
Right. And and
What do
and
you
I may
do?
not that's the same thing I do, because now mind you, we're all humans. So initially when you see it, you're like, wow, that's similar to what I'm doing. Okay. But at the same time, I'm trying to be at a place of always learning. What can I learn from that person? What can they do in a way that I can't do? Because let's remember, there are what, 5 or 10 late night talk shows. Everybody
Okay.
watches them all for different reasons. So someone's going to be drawn to you, and those are your people. But we're all fighting for the same audience. Why
And
can't they enjoy a few things? Which is exactly why we're collaborating today. Like, you have a talk show, I have a talk show. Does that mean we can't be each other's
and
guests?
See, but Cara, that's the thing about you. I mean, obviously, I had good vibes the first time we met,
Yeah.
but you are honestly one of those people that I see you promote other people, you're blessing other people with your platforms,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never heard you say in conversation, "Well, I keep supporting people, but they don't support me." Blah blah blah. You just keep it moving.
Cause I just don't have time. Again, parenting has shown me some patience that I just could not have paid for. And, you know, in the back of my mind, especially being a young mother, now mind you, we talked about our 20s. So I was on the go, a young mom. By
Uh-huh,
the time you
uh-huh.
do get into your 30s, you start realizing how much you've sown these seeds and supported these people. And having raised a whole human, you start to look at them like, so you're not gonna thank me for feeding you today? Like,
Uh-huh.
and they don't have to thank you. This is your obligation. This is what you signed up for. So that continued reassurance of looking at the bigger picture. My goal is to be a mother, not to be upset because he didn't thank me in the moment or he doesn't see or appreciate what I'm doing. So I take that same practice to business and what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm not interviewing people just to learn their story or just to, you know, showcase them in the moment. I'm also interviewing people for continued practice for myself, to continually showcase other people for other people. Like, it's just a bigger message and story and goal behind everything I do. And then my ending story, like where I want to be by the time this is all over. I want to interview the best of the best. I'm going to interview Jada Pinkett. We're still waiting on it's going to happen,
I know that's right.
but by the time it gets here, instead of me just sitting here hoping Red Table Talk calls me to say, hey, here's an interview with Jada, maybe they'll see this interview and all the other ones that I'm doing and be like, man, we need to call. Why didn't we call her a long time ago? It's fine because I've actually enjoyed this and I've grown. And, nobody waits until you're drafted to the NBA to practice the right way, right? Don't they practice in advance?
That's right. That's right.
You got to show your work in advance. So,
And while we're practicing, and I said this earlier, while we're practicing, people are watching, Cara, right?
yeah.
People are watching. We're not going to have to go and seek out someone to get in their lane.
Right.
We're creating lanes, Cara, that one day you're going to have to look at your calendar to see if you got time to bring them in your life. You know
Right,
what I mean?
exactly. No, that's accurate though, but I really see it as we're all the same audience. I mean, I pay attention to smaller things. So I hear Kevin Hart say who another favorite comedian is. And I'm like, Kevin Hart has another favorite comedian. Yeah, he has to be entertained too. I hear, you tell me people you've interviewed, and I may reach out to them for an interview. They're trying to showcase their brand. I'm an interviewer, so I should want to interview people. And then I'm trying to see if I can bring you in. Stacey, you want to come sit in my studio audience? I went to your live studio audience. Like,
Yes.
it's a good experience. People want to be supported. So that's what I feel like we always should focus more on.
Okay. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
to wrap this up, because I know you're very busy. For me, if someone wants to advertise, they can always email me at imstacythomas@gmail.com. That's for advertisement, that's for sponsorship, and that's if you like to be on a guest, we can see if you fit the
Yes.
criteria.
Yes.
For me, my platform is the Stacey Thomas Talk Show. So if you're interested in being a part of what I'm doing, hit Stacey up. Cara,
Yes.
how does one reach you and get your awesome services?
Yeah, they can email me at thecareercheerleader@gmail.com or follow me on Instagram, the career cheerleader, or Twitter, the one cheering the number 4, the letter U. The
Okay,
one cheering for you.
and if you can, you'll put that up underneath this video, Cara.
Yeah, I'll put it underneath here. You can follow me on Facebook too, the career
Okay.
cheerleader. So yeah.
Was there anything I forgot to ask you?
No, I appreciate you, Stacey. You just inspired me to be my own little talk show host. We're gonna introduce Red Table Talk late night coming
Yes.
soon. So premiering that here today.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna do some awesome things, and you're always an inspiration. So thank you for inspiring me, and I hope I inspire you too.
Sweetheart, you've always inspired me. I've got to say this I don't know if people laugh when I always say this. Cara gonna get tired of me saying this. When I first met Cara, we were at a networking event, right? Something about you, I felt like it was okay to come and talk to you. I forget exactly how we started talking, right? But I
I'll tell
was
you exactly how it was. She's an author, so her book was published in a magazine, and she was like, "Yep, there's my article." And I said, "Look at you, you're an author in a magazine. Go
that's right.
ahead, girl."
And Cara, and I said, "What do you do?" And Cara, when you said the cheerleader, I'm looking like, okay.
She
And I'm
thought I
thinking to
cheered.
myself,
Big
without
girl.
sounding crazy, what team she cheering for?
Big girl
I'm
cheerleader.
thinking,
No,
I'm
no,
meeting a
girl.
real cheerleader.
You're not the first one to think that. You're not the first one to think that. That's hilarious.
Sweetheart, take care
Yes.
of yourself.
Thank you. You
All right.
too.
So we're getting off, everybody. I'm gonna let Cara go.
Yes.
Take care, beautiful.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so I want to tell you once again, thank you for watching. I also would like it very much if you look at the little tickler at the bottom of the screen. The show was sponsored by Heavenly Beauty Supply, Marquita Stiff. Awesome individual. She also is one that promotes people. Marquita has masks. If you need them, hopefully she hasn't run out. Check her out on Facebook. I am Stacey Thomas, Unrestricted, Unlimited. Thank you for joining. And remember, don't stress about yesterday or worry about tomorrow. If you do, you just might miss living today.